I said, "Do as I say or pack your bags." He just smirked and left. Posted by underscore thrown into the void 1 hour ago. So yeah, I guess this is one of those I messed around and found out kind of stories. Honestly, I never thought I'd be that person pouring their heart out on Reddit like this. But here I am. Venting to Reddit because I don't really have anyone else to talk to right now. No friends left who aren't mutuals. No siblings that would offer real helpful advice. My mom would probably just say, "I told you so." So maybe strangers on the internet can help me figure out if I completely blew up my own life, or if this thing was always heading toward a cliff, and I just finally looked down. Let's backtrack a little. I'm 31 female, and I've been with my husband Nate, 28 male, for almost 6 years. We've been married for 4. Yeah, I know, 3-year age gap in reverse. Cue the jokes. But he was always mature for his age. That was one of the first things that drew me in. He's calm, grounded, patient to the point of sainthood, and genuinely one of those good guys you hear about, but never believe exist. Well, he exists. We met through mutual friends. A game night turned into late night texting. Late night texting turned into brunches, movie nights, and eventually the "I guess we're official" talk. He wasn't flashy or loud. He didn't sweep me off my feet with grand gestures. He just showed up, consistently, kindly, like clockwork. And after a string of chaotic flings with guys who were nothing but drama, it felt like peace. Like exhaling after holding my breath for years. I've always been a little fiery. Let's be real. I have a control streak. A big one. I like structure. I like plans. I like knowing that when I say something, it gets done. I don't yell. Well, not often. But I can be sharp. I like things my way, and I get frustrated fast when they aren't. I know that about myself. Nate knows it too. Honestly, even our friends know it. They used to joke that I wore the pants in the relationship, and I laughed along because, yeah, I did. But the thing is, Nate never seemed to mind, or at least I thought he didn't. He'd always smile and say, "Okay, babe," or whatever you think. He let me run the show, the vacations, the house decorating, the dinner plans, even the damn grocery lists. And I thought that was just our dynamic. I'd be the planner, the decision maker, and he'd be the one that listened and did whatever I wanted. It worked. Like, really worked. For a long time. We had our rhythm, and yeah, I ran the damn show. No question about it. I wore the pants, the belt, probably the shoes too. I was the one calling the shots. Where we lived, how we decorated, what we ate, how our schedule looked. I had a preference for everything. And Nate? He rolled with it. Always. Without a fuss. I'd tell him what I wanted. I mean, everything from the big stuff like house renovations to the little things like rearranging the spice rack, and he just did it. No pushback, no complaining. He made it easy. Effortless, really. And at the time, I thought I hit the jackpot. Like, seriously, how many women can actually say they have a man who listens to them, who truly hears them and follows through? He paid the bills, every last one. Rent, utilities, subscriptions, groceries, car maintenance, all covered. He took care of us financially and still got up to clean the damn table when I asked, or helped me chop onions in the kitchen even after a long day, or folded the laundry just how I liked it. It wasn't just that he listened, it was that he did it all with that calm, loving smile, like it wasn't even a favor, like it was just what he did because he loved me. And that made me feel adored. I felt powerful, so I didn't question it. I never really stopped to think about how it looked from the outside, because inside, it felt good. It felt like I was winning, even when our friends would joke about it. And yeah, those jokes were frequent. At game nights, double dates, cookouts, you name it. Everyone always had something to say, especially his friends. And yes, they were technically mutual now, but they were his friends first. They were the ones who started calling me the boss lady in that snarky tone, or saying, "Careful, Nate, better check with HQ before you answer that," stuff like that. And I'd laugh. We both did, or at least I did loudly enough for both of us, because he never said much in those moments, just kind of chuckled under his breath or gave a little half smile and sipped his drink. Back then, I thought they were just being annoying. You know, typical guy jokes. The kind of stuff men say because they can't handle a woman taking the lead. Of course, they'd find it strange that I called the shots their fragile little egos probably couldn't compute it. But now that I've had a little too much time alone with my thoughts, I've replayed every memory, every argument, every sidelong glance Nate ever gave me in public when I corrected him or talked over him, or snapped at him just a little too sharp. I'm starting to get it. I get it now. They weren't just teasing. They weren't just being typical guys. They were watching something I refused to see. Something I couldn't see because I was too fucking convinced that what we had was perfect. The truth is, and yeah, it burns a little to admit it, I was very controlling, very demanding. I can't even sugarcoat it anymore. That's what I was. I thought I was being efficient, organized, assertive, but what I really was, I was domineering. I didn't leave him space to exist outside of what I needed. If he ever did have a different opinion, I'd override it. If he wanted something else, I'd dismiss it. I knew how to steer the ship so well, he didn't even bother holding the wheel. And I liked it that way. I liked being in control. I thought that made me strong. Funny how that works, huh? And the thing is, it wasn't just between me and Nate. Like, yeah, I was the one being bossy, snarky, controlling. I've owned up to that already. But the ripple effect, it went further than I realized at the time. The way I treated him, it started to shape how other people treated him too, especially my family. I see that now. And it sucks. It really sucks. Because when you're constantly being demanding, always correcting your partner, always sounding like your word is final, people pick up on that. They start to follow your lead. And that's exactly what happened with my parents, my siblings, hell, even my cousins. It wasn't even intentional on their part, but they mirrored the energy I set. They saw the way I dismissed his opinions, or interrupted him mid-sentence or spoke for both of us. And slowly, quietly, they started doing the same. Like my mom, for instance. She used to adore Nate when we first started dating, would always call him such a sweet boy, and brag to her friends about how polite and grounded he was. But over time, she got kind of smug with him. Like she'd make these passive comments during dinners like, "Oh, Nate, just let her handle it. She always knows best." Or, "You're lucky she keeps everything running." And I'd laugh. I'd actually laugh like it was some cute inside joke. It was degrading. And I let it happen. Even my dad, who's usually quiet and doesn't get involved, would chime in sometimes. One time during the holidays, I was barking orders while we were cooking, and I told Nate to stop overthinking it and just cut the damn onions. And my dad, in front of everyone, just chuckled and said, "Poor guy, you really do have him trained, huh?" And everyone laughed, including me. And Nate, he just smiled. At the time, I thought, well, they're just teasing. It's not that deep. But it was. It absolutely was. Because over time, the respect people had for Nate started to fade. And it wasn't because he changed. It was because I painted him in that light. Like he was the helper, the sidekick. I think Nate was done way before I even had the slightest clue, like really done. I just didn't see it, because classic me, I was too busy running the show to notice the cracks starting to form in the foundation. It didn't happen overnight. It started small, subtle, almost easy to ignore if you weren't paying attention. He got quieter, less engaged. He'd nod along to whatever I was saying, but didn't really say much. I chalked it up to stress. He had just gotten a major promotion at work, after all. Big deal. More responsibility, longer hours, all that stuff. So when he started staying late, like really late, it made sense, at least to me. I convinced myself it made sense. I mean, he wasn't the type to make excuses or bail out on stuff, so I didn't press too hard. Then came the missed events. First it was my cousin's birthday dinner, then a friend's engagement party, then my mom's just because Sunday dinner, and finally, my sister's baby shower. And every single time it was something. A work thing, a last-minute task, a headache, a boys' night with the guys. At first, I brushed it off. Thought, okay, he's busy. It's a rough patch. But by the time the baby shower came around and he still refused to go, that's when I started to feel it. That sting in your chest that tells you something's off. But you can't quite put your finger on it yet. We actually fought about it. Like, full-on argument. Because it wasn't just any event, it was my sister's baby shower. I told him, you can have game nights and boys' nights with your friends anytime. This is once in a lifetime. My family's gonna notice, Nate. And Nate just said, I already told you I'm not going. Just like that. Flat. Like he wasn't even interested in debating it anymore. I was shocked and floored. This wasn't the same Nate who used to ask if he should bring wine or dessert to every single dinner. This wasn't the guy who used to help me pick out gifts for my nieces and nephews and carry platters into my mom's house with a smile on his face. This guy, he just didn't care anymore. And he didn't budge. No matter how much I pushed, no matter how annoyed or upset I got. He stayed home, and I showed up alone, pretending everything was fine while people asked, "Oh, where's Nate?" And I had to smile and make up something halfway believable. We did talk about it afterward, or, well, I talked about it. I went on about how I didn't feel supported, how I didn't like the way he was pulling away from my family, how it wasn't like him. He just kind of nodded, apologized in that generic way that doesn't actually mean anything, and I thought it was fine. I told myself we'd moved on, like we always did after arguments. So how the fuck did that whole shit show happen? My sister and her husband were getting their house repossessed. Now, for context, my sister has always been the messy one of the family. You know how every family has that one sibling who's just chaotic from top to bottom? That's her. She's never really had a solid job. Her life is all over the place. It shows in everything, from the way she dresses to the way her home looks, to the way she handles, or more accurately doesn't handle, her money. She's got champagne taste on a soda budget, literally always reaching for the most luxurious things just so she can brag. Designer bags on a fast food paycheck. Her husband, same breed, doesn't earn much, doesn't know how to manage anything, definitely not money. Together, they've got a combined income that barely scrapes by, and they have 5 kids. 5 kids. So when I heard their house was getting repossessed, yeah, I wasn't shocked. Maybe a little disappointed, but not surprised in the slightest. Their credit is trash. Their finances are a joke. And obviously they couldn't find a place within their budget. But instead of adjusting their expectations, they kept looking at places way out of their league. I felt stuck, because as frustrating as they are, they have 5 kids, my nieces and nephews, and the thought of them being homeless, it crushed me. My sister and her husband, sure, maybe they need a hard lesson, but those kids, they don't deserve that. So I decided I'd help. My husband Nate and I live in a 3-bedroom house. We share a room, obviously, and that leaves 2 other rooms. I figured maybe, just maybe, they could make it work for a while. Just until they got their shit together. I brought it up to Nate, just casually, like, "Hey, my sister's family's about to be homeless. What if they stayed with us for a bit?" He shut it down, hard, like immediate no. Said he wasn't having them in our home, called them messy and disrespectful. Said if they came here, he'd be the one cleaning up after them. And to be fair, he wasn't wrong. But still, I thought he'd come around once he heard about the kids. But no, he was firm. Said he'd only allow the kids to stay, not the adults. That the kids could live with us temporarily while my sister and her husband figured their shit out. But of course, my sister refused. Said they were staying together as a family or not at all, and Nate wasn't budging either. It turned into a full-blown argument. Tension, yelling, frustration. And that's when I said it. That one dumbass sentence. "Do as I say or pack your bags." I didn't scream it. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I said it with that usual clipped tone I use when I'm annoyed and trying to assert control. And honestly, I didn't mean it. It wasn't the first time I'd said something like that. I've thrown out that phrase before, just empty words to push my way, to make a point. I thought he knew that. But this time, Nate just looked at me and smirked. Then he got up, walked past me, and went upstairs. I followed him, fully expecting him to argue or roll his eyes, like always. I thought we were just going to have a big fight and then cool off. But he didn't yell. He didn't say a single word. He just calmly started packing a bag. I stood there, stunned. He wasn't bluffing. He said he'd be staying with a friend for a while, that we both needed to think, that I needed to figure out if I actually wanted to be in this marriage or if I just wanted someone to boss around. And then he left. It's been 7 days. The only message I've gotten from him was to let me know he'd be coming by to grab a few more of his things while I wasn't home. I've been a wreck, a complete emotional disaster. One minute I'm panicking, the next I'm angry, then I'm crying, then I'm numb. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. I keep going over everything in my head, and it hits me over and over that I fucked up. I didn't think he'd leave. I really didn't. I thought we were solid. I thought we were in this together. I blocked my sister, by the way. She was acting so damn entitled through all of this, like she deserved to move into our home. I haven't let her or her family move in, and honestly, I don't think I ever will not after what all this has cost me. But now I'm terrified it's already too late. Nate hasn't said the word divorce yet, but I can feel it coming. I want to fix this. I just don't know how. How do you fix something when the other person doesn't even want to hear it anymore? I know I said do as I say or pack your bags, but I didn't mean it. Has anyone gone through something like this? Can someone actually come back from this kind of damage? Is it too late? Thanks for reading. I'm just lost. Update. Hey Reddit, so I made a post about 3 months ago. Honestly, it blew up way more than I ever expected. I mean, when I wrote it, I figured it would get a few eyes, maybe some feedback, maybe a little bit of tough love. But holy crap, it got hundreds of replies. I'm not even going to lie, reading some of them stung. But also, I deserved it. Thank God nobody that actually knows me in real life seems to have recognized it. Or if they did, they didn't say anything, yet. And Nate, my husband, or should I say ex-husband, isn't on Reddit. At least I don't think he is. But who really knows these days? Anyway, like I said, it got a lot more attention than I expected. And the replies? Whew, some of y'all were brutal. And I get it, I really do. A bunch of you called me the asshole. And fair enough, I was the asshole. Some of you didn't even flinch before letting me have it. You got what you deserved. You treated him like a doormat. You thought you were the boss, but he was the one who walked away. Yep, and yep. But before you assume I was out here looking for sympathy or trying to make myself out to be the victim, nah. That wasn't the point of that post. I wasn't trying to twist the story and paint myself in some kind of pitiful light to get Reddit to tell me, oh, poor you. No, I knew going in that I fucked up. I said it right there in the original post I messed around and found out. I know I'm the asshole in this. I made peace with that part already. Well, mostly. I guess what I really wanted was just to hear some raw, unfiltered perspective from people outside my world. People who didn't know me, or Nate, or our families, or our history. And yeah, mixed in with the chaos and judgment were some genuinely helpful pieces of advice, like go to therapy, try counseling, show him you've changed instead of just saying it. Stuff that made sense. So if you were one of the folks who offered real advice instead of just roasting me, thank you, genuinely. Unfortunately, this isn't one of those wholesome update, things are getting better now type of posts. I wish I had that kind of update. I wish I was writing this to say Nate and I are working through it, or even that we've agreed to couples counseling, but I'm not. Because the truth is he's done, like really done. He's dropped the D word, divorce. And that was honestly one of the worst days of my life, and I saw it coming. I even said in my last post that I felt it in the air that it was coming. But I didn't think it would really come to this. I thought maybe we'd fight, maybe we'd need time, maybe some distance, but not this, not full on, I'm done with this marriage level stuff. I underestimated how far gone he already was. A couple weeks after he left the house, he told me he wanted a divorce, plain and simple. He didn't yell, he didn't cuss me out, he was just calm, like someone who had made peace with the decision long before I even saw it coming. And I panicked. I tried to talk him out of it. I suggested therapy. I pleaded. I apologized over and over. But none of it made a difference. He was done. The damage was already done. And unlike me, Nate doesn't throw words around just to manipulate or win an argument. When he says something that heavy, he means it. He's already gotten an apartment. The house? Well, he asked if I wanted to keep it. But if I do, I'd need to buy him out of his half. And the truth is, I can't afford that. I guess I'm kind of like my messy sister in the sense that I'm not a good saver. Nate was always the one who handled our finances like a pro. I just spent. I wasn't reckless exactly, but I didn't think about saving either. I was used to him managing that side of things. And now I'm in a dilemma because I really love this house, but probably can't afford to keep. I told him I needed time to think about it, but deep down, I know, it's going on the market. It's another piece of this life I'm going to have to watch slip away. I really wanted to keep it sort of like my last connection to Nate, but now I won't even be able to afford it. I've been a wreck. I can't stop crying. I feel like I'm walking around in a fog. I've never felt heartbreak like this before. It's not just that he left. It's that he left so quietly, so completely. Like he had already grieved this marriage before I even realized it was dying. Work? I'm barely functioning. I show up, but I'm not really there. I keep getting scolded for zoning out or missing deadlines. I'm depressed. I've never felt this low in my life. And what's worse, he looks fine. Better than fine, actually. He's been posting on social media more, going out with friends, smiling in photos. He looks free. He looks happy. It's as if he isn't even affected by the divorce. And meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, miserable, alone, watching the life I took for granted vanish in real time. Our friends, or rather his friends, they all took his side. The same ones who used to call me boss lady in that sarcastic, teasing, snarky way. Yeah, I bet they're all patting him on the back now, probably saying things like, "Told you she'd ruin it," or "should have left sooner." Even my own family is acting weird. My siblings and parents are walking on eggshells around me, like they don't know what to say, and I know they're talking about it behind my back. I'm not stupid. I know there are whispers. She had it coming. She pushed him too far. And they're right. I did. But it still stings like hell. I guess I just wanted to vent. Because even though I know I caused this, I still wasn't ready for the consequences. I wasn't ready for this kind of loneliness. So, yeah, that's the update. Nate is gone. The house is going up for sale. We're getting a divorce. I'm depressed. I'm a mess. And I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my life right now. But thanks for reading. I don't even know why I made this update. Maybe I just needed to rant. Either way, thanks for reading. Or